EPA Environmental Justice Grants 2024.
Yeah. Yes. And so, oh, I'm gonna go over the nonprofit stuff first, and then we'll get into some of those and how to approach it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All
Mm-hmm.
right. Okay. Let me change this right here. All right. Peace, power, and profit, everybody. Welcome to Urban Economic Empowerment Show. Got my brother Sonny and my brother Chris here with me. And we're going to go ahead and move forward. We won't waste no time because I have a lot to talk to you all about today. So grab your pen and your paper. If you know someone who has a nonprofit organization, who's starting one, or who's interested in one, make sure you get them tuned into this video. And try to take my time and try to answer as many questions as possible. But we are preparing for the last for the last 30 days. You all know I had a retreat based on environmental justice. And in that retreat, we brainstormed on um, ways to help a community prepare for environmental justice issues and get the opportunities to submit for grant proposals to help their community. So a lot of times on YouTube, you hear people say, "What are you going to do for the Black community? How are you going to approach the Black community? What is the administration doing for Black people, etc." And I want to share with you that there's a lot of opportunities that may not specifically say Black, but it may say underserved, marginalized, low income, rural, um, you name it. And so it's a matter of being able to follow the money. And so, but in my opinion, before you go after any funding source, you need to make sure that you have your ducks in a row. So let's use the hurricane as a case study. Now, the last time I had this conversation in reference to natural disaster, we talked about it from a justice perspective. So there was a young man on here, I think he lived in Kansas, and he was an adjuster, and he would go out and he would do the claims for hold on. Hold on, let me tell him I'm live. He would do the claims for insurance agencies where he go out when they had a disaster, and he would go and determine the amount of damage and submit to the insurance companies. So it's big business, right? So now that's one aspect. Then you notice that there are contracts that are available for debris removal, cleanup, you know, things of that nature, right? Um, but that's another area that we sleep on. So sometimes you see a whole lot of community organizations that may come out that's offering assistance, whether they provide humanitarian aid, food, transportation, things of that nature. A lot of those agencies are getting grant funded, and though that funds fall up under disaster relief, not relief, that it falls under environment environmental protection or environmental justice, right? So you have community-based organizations out there who are getting funding for food insecurity, for land and land conservation, water monitoring, water and air monitoring, nuclear waste, uh, science, um, what else? What else? What else? What else? Capacity building, awareness campaigns, bringing the knowledge to or educating the elders, uh, community engagement with the universities and research developers, all of those different avenues. And that comes about by determining what how to either do disaster preparedness, resiliency, and disaster awareness, preparedness, and resiliency, meaning, do you know about the type of disasters or hazards that are in your environment? Two, are you prepared to address them? And three, are you prepared to sustain? So we have two hurricanes to hit back to back. Hurricane Helena and now Hurricane Milton, right? And our heart goes out to those areas that are just went through the destruction of a hurricane and now has to face another one within less than 2 weeks. So the question lies, how do they rebuild? Who's responsible? Where are they going to get the funding from? Right. And so we look a lot of times just at FEMA, but there's a whole nother pot of money out there that's available. And how you go about getting those funds, you have to, one of the ways you can go about getting it is having a community-based organization, having a nonprofit, right? So the for-profit goes from the contractor's perspective, and those are the individuals who go and maybe do the cleanup, maybe do the building, that those type of things. But then there's a whole another avenue out there, that's a missing piece. I always call missing piece of the puzzle. There's a grant already available out there called a change grant, but in order to go after these dollars, you have to have your community-based organization intact, right? So I want to start this presentation off for nonprofit organizations grant programs. All right, so we're gonna talk about the nonprofit grant program budget, and we may do a little Q&A. And I don't know if it's going to be 20 minutes. It might be more like 30, 40 minutes. Who knows? Because I've added to this presentation. All right. So a compliance checklist. This is preliminary, and I may have some things added on at the end, but we'll start here. So when you start your nonprofit organization, you want to look up your articles of incorporation with your state. Now, in some places, it may be organization articles of formation or articles of organization. All the same thing, all housed at the Secretary of State. That just means that you're able to do business in that state, right? Then there's the Federal Employment Identification Number. That's with the IRS. That's the number given to you from the IRS to identify you for tax purposes. Then the unique entity identifier. Everybody's used to having a DUNS number requirement for grants or contracting. Now you're given a UEI number from SAMS. And once you submit that and they allow you to go into the system, and you submit and you're approved, then you get what's called a cage code. Your NAICS code, that identifies the industry that you're part of. So the North American Industry Code, right? Everyone, if you're doing business, whether it's a for-profit or a community-based organization, you need to know your NAICS codes. You need to know what type of services you're offering. Don't go filling out these documentation that you haven't even looked it up, right? It's super important for you to know what your NAICS codes is. A state vendor number. If you're looking to do business in the state and get paid through any state agencies, you need to find out if your state procurement office needs you to register to get a vendor number. Recognized tax exempt form. If you fall under the charitable side of a nonprofit organization, then you would be doing the 501c3. Then you want to make sure that you file with the IRS so that those businesses that will invest in you, they get their tax write-offs. And two, that you can apply for some of these grants that require you to have a 501c3. Your list of board of directors, you want to have at least three. Make sure that you have their name, their address, their phone number, and their email. Charitable registration. The Secretary of State also requires you to have charter registration in that state for that organization if you're going to be fundraising or collecting any funding under your nonprofit. So when you apply for your articles of incorporation, find out if you have to have a charitable registration. Sometimes it's automatically included in the Secretary of State registration, and sometimes not. Bylaws. If you don't have any bylaws, you can always Google. There's a generic set of bylaws, but that's how you're going to govern your community-based organization. So sometimes some of you all, you start off and it's just you, or it may just be you and two other people. But as you expand, then your bylaws, you can amend them to fit your need. So don't get super um bent out of shape about how you're going to draft them. Just start with something generic and then add to and make adjustments as you go along the way. So I have a little philosophy called time, interest, and money. Who has it? If you're going to get into a community-based organization, meaning you're looking for funding to meet the need of some specific program, you're going to have to allot time. It takes time to do this stuff. You have to be interested in it, and you need to know where to find the funds to be able to do what you deciding that you want to do to meet your mission and your goals and your objectives. Okay. So let's talk about the time. Grants or all grants have different deadlines, right? Some are calendar year, some are state, some are federal. So the calendar year, January to December, the state year, July to June, the federal year, October to September, and then some grantors have their own fiscal year, which means when you fill out a grant application, it the the time period in which you need to have that funding spent, they will tell you. So don't assume that it's everything has, you have to meet deadlines by December, because all grants have different deadlines. All grants have to be spent by a specific date, and they're not always the same. The letter of intent. Some grants require you to have a letter of intent, meaning what's your purpose? Why are you seeking this grant? What are you going to do with it? And some do not. Most of the time, letters of intent are required for federal grants. Online
You know
application.
about a letter of intent.
Online applications. The online applications, well, that's practically almost everyone. No one is kind of accepting something you can hand to them. Usually, either you're gonna mail in a thumb drive, maybe with copies of the application, or you're gonna submit it online.
Yo, Mo, is
Huh?
this you talking about municipal bonds?
No, I'm talking about grants.
It's government. It's a government grant, right?
Yes, or it could be a foundation or corporation.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Application status. Usually in the grant application, it will tell you how to locate the status of your application or when to expect feedback. The final presentation. Some grants you require you to present, some do not. When you present, it's usually what you wrote in your application. They want to know, do you know what you know? Some people have other people write their grants for them, and they don't review it. And so when they're questioned on the grant, they don't know how to respond. So sometimes they make you do presentations on your information. A lot of times they make you do things that for the amount that you're going to receive, sometimes you'd be like, why would I gotta do this? It's not even worth it. But hey, I say leverage every penny that you can get. Interest. So here's some type of grants. You got your project grants, capacity building grants, operating fund grants, in-kind grants, your small nonprofits who seek grants from local your local area, right? So project grants. These are specific programs or projects for a predetermined period, right? So let's say you have a grant, there's a grant and it's for the summer. You have to have the money spent by July 31st. These are programmatic grants, right? Then you have your capacity building grants. These are the type of grants that allows you to build either personnel, resources, or human capital, right? So people or your organization. And sometimes no problem, Sonny. Sometimes you could get these capacity building grants to help you build up your organization. Like if you don't have an idea on how to go about completing your mission or expanding or scaling up your business, you can seek capacity building grant, seek out subject matter experts who can come help you organize and design your actual organization. Operating fund grants give ongoing support to an organization. Small family foundations are more likely to provide operating fund grants. So operating this is the money that you need to organize your business, your administrative funds, maybe your finance funds, rent, office expenses, things of that nature. Everybody need operating funds, operating grant money. So people will say, how can I get paid through my grant? Well, you might want to be looking for some operating funds or some capacity building money or some seed funds, or you may want to fundraise. In-kind grants provide non-monetary help, such as equipment or even pro bono personnel. Corporations more often supply in-kind grants, in-kind donation, and grants. These are good because they usually have less strict deliverable requirements, right? So you get in-kind money. These are the dollars that you can kind of move around for things that you need, or you could possibly get equipment or tangibles versus getting monetary donations. All right, so when you get money into your organization, you need to be thinking about restricted. Is this money restricted? Meaning, if I got a grant to buy a tractor, right? Because I'm going to go out and do some farming work, or I'm going to do some food insecurity projects. And I got a grant to buy a tractor. I can't go buy a car when it was specifically for a tractor, or I can't go buy some baskets, some tables or whatever. I have to use the money for specifically what they said it was intended to be used for, right? And usually, to prove that, you usually have to give them an itemized list of what you spent the money on, an invoice from the vendor that you paid, cancel check from your bank saying that it actually was paid, and this is who they paid it to, and that's where the proof comes from. Or you can give proof from your bank, meaning you can print off your transaction list or a bank statement. Unrestricted funds. Money can be spent for any purpose. This is funding, although you create a budget for it, if you have a remaining balance somewhere, let's say you have a budget of 20,000, 10,000 was for supplies, 5,000 was for marketing, and another 5,000 was for training. Let's say you only spend 3,000 of your 5,000 for training. You could take that 10,000 and either use it for more supplies or something else that you may need in the business, as long as you properly document it. Now, what are your responsibilities back to the person who gave you the money? Acknowledgement letters. You're going to share with that person gave you a $20,000 grant. You're going to send them a letter back stating thank you for your donation of $20,000. Make sure your EIN is on there and your address, and you sign it and send it back. Receipts. If someone gives you a cash donation, maybe they want to write off on their taxes, you can sign them over a receipt. And end of year statements, if you have a donor that's recurring, that means that they're giving you money every month, or they may be giving it to you once a quarter, or semi-annually or annually. You could give them a end of year statement. All right, so who has this funding? You're talking about maybe the industry in which you're operating in, or trade associations. They may have some grants. Your local, state, and federal government representatives, that they may have some different types of grants. Manufacturers or suppliers and financial institutions. Just means you need to go out and you need to research, or maybe get into a particular website where they have a database of grants. Maybe it was word of mouth, right? Or maybe you know another organization who may be receiving funding. All right, so here's some other type of grants. You have research grants from the federal research grants. You have federal research grants. These are funded by government agencies for research in various fields. If you know someone who is in one of the science fields and they do research and maybe they do publications, you can partner with them and go after a research grant. Institutional grants. These are offered by universities or research institutions to support academic projects, right? Maybe you could partner with a university. Maybe you'll find an RFP out there that includes a particular field of academics, and you can go after an institution grant. Or you could become a subsidiary of one of those grants, where they may be the fiscal manager and it be passed through for you. Private foundation grant. These are provided by non-governmental organizations or philanthropies for specific research interests. Education grants and student grants. This is financial aid for students to support tuition, books, and living expenses. Then you have your teacher and faculty grants. These are funds for educators to pursue professional development or classroom projects. You have institutional education grants. This supports for schools and educational programs to provide services or infrastructure. Business grants. You can look for small business grants. This is capital provided to small businesses for startup costs or expansion. Startup grants. These are funds aimed at new businesses, often in technology or innovative sectors. Industry-specific grants. These are targeted funding for businesses within certain industries like agriculture, energy, or healthcare. Arts and cultural grants. Individual arts grants. This support artists to create new works or pursue professional development. Cultural organizational grants. These are funding for museums, theaters, and cultural institutions to support programs and operations. Nonprofits. Program development grants. Funds to develop new programs or expand existing services. Operational support grants. This general funding to support the day-to-day operations of nonprofit organizations. Community development grants. These are housing grants, support for affordable housing projects and initiatives. Community service grants. These are funding for programs that improve community welfare and engagement. Science and technology grants, innovation grants support the cutting edge projects in science and technology. Technology development grants. These are funds to develop or improve technological products or services. Health and medical grants. These are medical research grants. This is funding for research into diseases, treatments, and healthcare improvements. Public health grants. These support programs that improve health outcomes on a community or national level. Environmental grants, conservation grants. These are funds aimed to preserve natural habitats and biodiversity. Renewable energy grants. These support for projects that promote sustainable energy sources. International grants, international development grants, funding for projects that aid economic and social development in other countries. Cross border research grants, these support collaborative research involving international partners. Emergency and disaster relief grants, grants for disaster response grants. Immediate funding to address the aftermath of a natural or man made disasters. Humanitarian aid grants support organizations providing relief in crisis situations. Agriculture grants, farming development grants, funds to support farming operations, technology, and sustainability. Agriculture research grants, support for research into crop improvement, pest control, and farming methods. Social studies grants, poverty elevation grants, funding for programs aimed at reducing poverty and its impacts. Social justice grants, support for initiatives that promote equality, justice, and human rights. Infrastructure grants, transportation grants, funding for developing or improving transportation systems. Public work grants, support for projects that build or maintain public facilities like parks and community centers. STEM, science, technology, engineering, mathematics, grants, STEM education grants, funding to improve education and engagement in STEM fields. STEM research grants, supports for research projects within the STEM discipline. Youth and sports grants, youth program grants, funding for programs that support youth development and education. Sports development grants, support for athletic programs, facilities, and events. Employment and training grants. You have your job creation grants, funding for businesses that create new employment opportunities. Workforce development grants, support for training programs that enhance workforce skills. So, all of those grants that I just mentioned, those are just different ways that you can go after different types of funds. Then you have your websites that are quick links that can help you out, and you can that house different databases of grants. Now, here's another checklist. I have this checklist in a PDF, and it has all the links that you need to go and get your nonprofit going. And the only thing I didn't talk about that was on the previous checklist was a mission statement, objectives and goals, your business license, whether it's a county or the city, your sales exemption, that's usually at your state Department of Revenue, a conflict of interest policy, an income statement and a balance sheet, and your grants.gov registration. Those are the only ones that I didn't speak about. All right. So I don't want to get into a program at all. Let's see. These are just some different areas to get some grants. Any question, Chris?
No question.
All right. So let me see. All right. So if you all were going to look for some grants, so you can always say like, okay, so we talk about training and teaching people all the time. Let's say we were looking for, let's say if you put in community, um, I'm gonna do food insecurity because one of the things we need to do, we're gonna go after funding and we're looking to help our community. We need to know what's going on right now, right? And so right now we're having natural disasters that are tearing up our communities, right? So it's leaving people without food. We already had an issue with inflation. Now we have an issue with people not taking what little that they do have and unable to replenish it. So the Community Food Insecurity Initiative was launched by the USDA in 1999 following the passage of the Community Food Insecurity Act of 1996. The initiative aims to build local food systems, decrease need, and improve nutrition by foregoing partnership between USDA and local communities. Community food insecurity represents a comprehensive strategy to address food needs in low income communities, reduce hunger, and improve individual health. So let's see what is available. So let's start here. Let's see what they're talking about. So the National Sustainable Agriculture Coalition food program projects. Let's see if they got some grant funds. So helping community increase self-sufficiency in food insecurity. I can tell you right now, this is a real big problem right now. Food insecurity is a hot topic on the table. Our event on November the 9th is going to address food insecurities. So let me see real quick. Beginning and social disadvantaged farmers. So farmers, let's see, farm bill programs and grants. Let's go there. Oh, let me go back. Let's reach for the low-hanging fruit first. We don't want no loan. See, they be trying to get us caught up with the loans, but we need some grant funds, just like everybody else have. Let's see. Um, let's look at farm to school grants. So farm to school grants provides grants on a competitive basis to increase local food procurement for school meal programs and expand education and agriculture and gardening activities. So farm to school grants can be used for training and technical assistance, planning, purchase equipment, develop school gardening, developing partnerships, implementing a farm to school program. So this is where you got to be savvy, right? If you know some farmers and they are having a hard time linking to the school, then that's where you develop a training and technical assistant for that farmer. And then your idea is to plan so that you could develop a school garden. That's where you connect that school and that farmer, or develop a partnership between them so that they can implement a farm to school program. So you kind of got to get savvy with your approach. So when you're thinking about an idea for your nonprofit, you have to know what's being funded and how can you make that work for you. So they have a planning grant, right? How you need to plan first. Maybe you need to come up with some money and figure out how you're going to make that happen. Then if you already have a plan, then you go for implementation grants to start the farm in advance. Either you start the farm to school program or you advance something you already have. Then a supporting services grant is to provide broad reaching services to the farm to school initiative. Who else can you get added to this particular program? So think I school Chris, I think you asked me before about a community garden. How do you go about doing
Yep.
that?
Mm-hmm.
Some opportunities in this particular grant. Let me see. Let's see where the up to date. Let's see. So we were looking for grants for a community garden, which falls under food insecurities. This grant right here is out. You could start with coming up with a marketing plan to connect the farmer and the community garden. Right? We're coming up, you either going to plan it, need some money to plan it, design it, develop it, implement it. So this grant is due on November the 7th, I think. And there's an actual training on this, on what they're looking for and how to go about doing it. So maybe the very first initiative is to come up with a plan, which you can get up to $50,000 before trying to do a implementation and try to get that 400. This is where you got to start. Go after the grant that teacher, that would allow you to plan for it first, right?
I got you.
Say it again.
Said I got
Yeah, and this grant is due November the 1st. So this is one. Let me keep this because I was looking for this. And then let's see. Put in grant behind it. Let's see what else comes up. So we just looked at that one. What else they got out here? That one's everywhere. Everybody talking about that one, huh? Okay, here we go. Food Insecurity Equity Impact Fund. Let's see what they talking about. Let's see. Oh, so they invested $20 million. They're partnering with food banks, 35 food banks, 75 community organizations, and 90% of the organizations led by color. So Feeding America, let's see, a trust-based grant making. We trust communities, not dictate solutions. Multi-year grant allows local leaders to innovate a build long-term solution. We go beyond emergency food assistance, tackling systematic barriers like race and economic inequalities. We celebrate creativity and innovation, supporting projects like Black Farm cooperatives, economic mobility programs, and developing equitable food systems that help nourish people. All right, so how do you join, y'all? I need to figure out how that works. So one of the things I want to say, stop this. One of the things I want to say is that when you're thinking about your community and doing something for the community, you want to think about, you want to put your program on paper, and then you want to look for ways, funding sources to be able to address your program from different angles, right? Think about what's going on and where the money might be. When you're talking about these bills from different administrations, look at bills that may have passed in previous administrations, and then go to see if there's still funding in those bills and find out where they're redirecting these funds to, right? And you may find some opportunities to get some grant funds to help with your initiative. But what you have to do in the beginning, though, your objectives and your goals have to be clear, they have to be obtainable, and you may want to always start with a pilot program. Because if you have never put a plan together to address the community need, then you may want to start with a pilot program. And then you could be able to evaluate your program. And then when you go the next time, when you implement it the next time, then you'll be good. So we know you can't have an open-ended program. Your program gonna have to start somewhere and end so that you can be able to evaluate it, revamp it, and then start again. So either you have maybe something that's like a half a year, maybe 12 weeks, and then you have a break, and then you start another 12 weeks, you know, um, maybe it's seasonal based on the type of crop that you make. When you talk about a community garden, or you planting foods that grow in the fall? Are you planting foods that grow in the summer, in the spring? Is it seasonal? Is it year-round growth? Are you doing what you call hybrid foods? Are you doing aquaponics? Like, what are you doing? What are the needs are? And you have to be able to break that out. Maybe the first time, maybe you will focus on two or three type of crops, maybe the next time, or maybe you'll focus on one. It just depends. Have you done it before? And if you have, what are your best practices? All of those things have to be written out so you can address what are you trying to do? What are your limitations? And what are your successes? You know, and how do you move forward? So yeah. Any questions or concerns, Chris?
No.
Yeah. So I am going to
Going to what?
nothing. I'm super late.
Yeah. Yeah. I was wondering.
I was on another call with another program. But I'm trying to get my PowerPoints back up because I have some grants that I need to throw on there so that we can start exploring and people can start benefiting.
Yeah.
So I'm about to start looking for operational funds and capacity building funds. And so with that being said, capacity building allows you to put a team together and start working on a program, you know?
Yeah.
Um, and so I'm looking for that. That's what I want to start looking for. And then I want to start looking for operating
Mhm.
because and then also looking for because a lot of people have good ideas, they just don't have no money.
Yeah.
And but if you have a good plan, you may can get some funds, you know. But you have to know how to put the plan together. So that's where the capacity building come into place. Someone to come, you can hire someone to come in. Like, let me read what it says right here. It says, what is a capacity building grant? You all right, Ty? Oh, a capacity building grant is a financial award to a nonprofit organization used to develop competency, strategies, systems, and structures in order to improve organizational effectiveness. These capacity building grant activities strengthen an organization to grow its impact and accomplish its missions. Basically, it gets all you together so that you can put your objectives and your goals in perspectives so that you can move forward. Right? It says capacity buildings in terms of funding for nonprofit leadership development and training. Subsequently, we researched over 25 nonprofit leadership management certificates and programs. So let's look for leadership development and training. These grants are fantastic new trends in philanthropy. Yes, they are. So capacity building is like a key word that is being used right now. And so people, what they do, they hire consultants to come in and train them in different areas.
Right.
And then remember I talked about general operating support. So operating funds is another one, another way to get some funds. Let me see. So what I want to do now, I want to find if they have some where can I find nonprofit capacity building grants? It said we always suggest talking to foundations that you already been awarded grants first. Often existing grantees will receive capacity building grants given their performance of other awards. So like we've just been offered a capacity building grant from a grantor that we've already been working with. It said there are several foundation and grant resources you can use for research, for your research. Here are a few tools that may assist you in finding new foundations offering capacity building grants. Eh, Yes, so you remember I go to Foundation Center a lot. So I would um subscribe to all of the different, well, some of them that are free, you can subscribe to.
Yeah.
Grants.gov. There's 140 capacity building grants available for now. So let's go to grants.gov. Let's go there. Let's put in capacity builder. Let me see, do searches and things. Excuse me. There we go. Capacity building. All right. So let's see what we got. Protecting and improving public health globally, building strengths. We're not doing nothing on that. Capacity building and program technical assistance for family violence prevention. And certainly ain't doing that. Zion, capacity building and technical assistance and workforce training to rapidly and effectively address health threats and to accelerate the response of HIV. Okay, we're not doing that. Capacity building for non-land grant colleges of agriculture. That's people like the non-traditional HBCUs. They should jump on that. Let's see, medicine, family, defense established stimulus research, Serbia. All right, building capacity in STEM education research. I know somebody who might be interested in that. Expanding AI intervention through capacity building and partnership. That's interesting. That's an interesting one. May look up that. Improving health security. Let's see, public health. Lots with public health. So that's another area. If you knew somebody was in some type of public health area, there's a lot of funding out there for that, especially if you're working with kids. Capacity building along the continuum from prevention to care. See, a lot of care. Capacity building and technical assistance, sustainable, community-led monitoring. Oh, HIV and Sierra Salon. Capacity building to sustain HIV, preventing capacity building for historical psychologists archives. Boom, they should jump on that. Building partnership and broaden perspectives on ethics, legal, and social. Argument. Let's see. So then this government connect communities 2.0 innovation to maintain growing transportation, building and industrial loads to the grid.
Maybe not yet, but it will.
HIV becoming a thing,
That's some tasty hooch. Yeah, well, that's a mega.
A lot of capacity building on HIV.
What can you guess? I think that would be the next job, Gibson. Yeah, right. Well, it's getting late, boys. We got a game of Memphis tomorrow.
See. Can I go to the next page? I need to narrow this search down.
You can't function without it. Okay.
Everything. Let's see if we can narrow this out. Bag it up. Let's see. I want to look for agriculture, arts, business and commerce is cool. Community development. Let's do training and development. Let's see. Food and nutrition. Housing. And Social Security. I just saw something that. Way to go.
My little boy, he's doing just fine.
All right, that's all the ones I'm gonna look. Let's see. It should have changed as we went. I see anything in the government we could take advantage of. Now we may have to go to foundations. Community-led monitoring intervention. What's that about? And that's one thing about grants is that it takes time. Calendar year 2022 disaster water grant. This might be interesting. We're doing some water testing now. Build to scale. What's that about?
Somebody, I can feel it in my bones.
I'm not about to spend a whole lot of time, but let's see. EDA invites organizations that support technology and innovation centric high growth companies, vote but not limited to startups, as they develop, demonstrate, and deploy the next generation of critical and emerging technology to apply for build to scale funding. That's people with technology skills that I sure don't have none.
I'm that baby daddy. It belongs to me. I want to get that little rap belong to me. Right? Say, boss, I'm that baby's daddy. I need the power, boss. I'm the power.
Watching life.
Baby.
Who that coach? Watching life.
Yeah.
I love life. Maybe I made my search too broad. Let me shut it down some. We don't want all, we just looking for grants. But these are
The source of internet having that day in Little Mayo. To celebrate his departure, Camp Eat to ourselves a little pie.
youth cyber awareness and cyber safety. That's an interesting grant.
It wasn't quite the boom boom, but it was close enough.
Let's see. Let's go back.
Oh man. Get that, man. Come in, man. The problem. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man, where my page was. It had all those different areas of finding grants. Now I don't know. Oh, here. I need to bookmark this page.
Release form, man. What am I gonna do out there, right?
Let's see. I don't want to go to the one where you have to pay. Let's go to grants found. Let's go to foundation, son. We can find. I can't sign in because I done forgot my pass. I didn't forget, but it's gonna take me forever to look for it. So, oh, you gonna make me sign in?
Come on now. Oh, that's why I forgot to tell you, Mo. I'm redoing my website.
Mm-hmm.
And remember I told you I needed help with I needed help doing a journal.
Hello.
It'll be good. It'll be good for Coach too.
What's that, brother?
I'm thinking about doing a journal.
What type of journal you talking about? Like a just daily journal, weekly journal? What you mean?
It's more about economics, right? But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a lot of resources in it, and then I'm gonna cross-reference it with Dr. Amos Wilson.
Perfect point.
Yeah, so I'm gonna mix the information for our benefit, but it's gonna have some modern statistics.
Okay.
As well. So nobody can have a damn excuse on how far behind we are, even with this environmental stuff too, Mo. But just this individualism lack and not being community minded.
Well, to speak to the point you make, bro, I get my next house certified on the 21st of October. So this would be my second one. So me and my a guy who grew up with my mom and dad, we walking through the neighborhood, and it's a house in the neighborhood, but it's raggedy. The house is raggedy in the neighborhood.
Yeah,
and, the grass is all crazy, blah blah blah. So I told the fella, man, I was like, We don't know who house it is now, but I was like, man, I pay somebody to cut this grass because the eyesores in the neighborhood. Like I don't know these people, but I understand what it do to the mind of people when you see eyesores, and it make you not care about anything in the neighborhood because you be like, man, that ain't my house. That ain't my house. So it speaks to what you're talking about the individualism part.
Yeah.
Or when you see trash in the neighborhood and stuff like that, it seems like it's meaningless, but it's really not.
Right.
It's really not, bro. And I mean, I'm glad you made that point, man. Like the mindset got to change in order to see what you're talking about, to see how far we are behind, bro. Like we really are far behind.
Great.
Man, we really are far behind, man. This shit, bro. This shit definitely bring a tear to y'all, boy.
Yeah. Really
I
does.
feel, I feel you. I feel you, Tim. I feel you. Cause it's a me.
Real talk.
I feel your pain, bro. You're not by your damn self. That's for certain.
So,
Yeah.
I'm listening.
what you mean?
Yeah, I mean, there's
I'm
opportunity.
listening to y'all.
It's sort of a once in a lifetime opportunity. By the way, they had some adversity.
That was it.
Man, that was. I mean, he made a great point. And I just want to build on it, man. It's when you, like I said, when you come to a certain level of consciousness and you digest how far we really are behind. Like, more, you can go give a presentation to 100 people right now. Maybe 10 will understand. Maybe
Yeah.
even 5. Who she thinks she is? It'd be all type of dumb stuff that you hear.
Yeah.
You know, man.
I ain't looking to save everybody either.
You
Let
better
Well,
not.
those have an ear.
They'll hold you back.
Let them hear.
good. That's another great point, brother. We can't.
They'll hold you back.
We can't, bro. You absolutely right, Mr. Bro. Can't
Right.
do it. Hell no. You carry your dead weight at that point.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, listen, hold on a second. Because what I'm about to say can't be heard on the internet.
Well, hold on before you say that. Well, Chris, if I had the power of Thanos, a lot of us would be gone already.
Facts. Hey, you ain't lying.
And the
You
power
ain't
of
lying,
what?
boy.
Thanos. Chris know who I'm talking about.
You don't know who Thanos is, Mo?
Philosophy. This a philosophy talk.
No.
He,
This is, Marvel DC comics.
oh no, I don't.
Oh, at a snap of the finger, motherfucker's gone. That's what we talking about.
Yeah, well, I gotta get off
Get
the
them
live.
Affinity
'Cause y'all
Stones
tripping.
and them
Get
niggas
off.
gone.
Get
We
off
on
the
the same.
live.
We on the same page, brother.
Yeah.
You're not by yourself out here, champ. I promise you that.
I gotta get off the live. Y'all over here.
No, you ain't gotta get off the line. This is just real talk. You just said it. They gonna hold you back. So what's that? What's the use? What is the economy made off of? People producing, not people not producing. They just taking up space. That's just the reality.
Reality, bro.
Whether they going through it or not. Some people you can give them all the help in the world. They just still gonna be who they are. It's unfortunate, but that's just the reality of the world. And people have accepted this already. I can play a video right now from back in the day. Even the old lady said that 2/3 of Negroes got to go. That's it. And I'm listening to Mama. She ain't wrong.
Nope.
A lot of them got to go. It ain't no benefit, man. It ain't personal. It just is what it is.
Yeah, no doubt.
Ain't start no community with no people who gonna rob, steal, and kill from you. They ain't benefiting the group. Can't do nothing with that.
That's what the conversation me and that we had today. Like if you want your community to survive, you damn near got to be a villain almost. You
Yeah,
gotta be willing to make all the hard decisions
right.
that nobody want to make. You gotta be the person that's
Yes.
not liked and everything. You gotta be willing to be that person.
Like how we gonna create a neighborhood and we letting anybody and anything move in? I want y'all to look up this. It was a short TV show. I don't know why they didn't finish it, but it was called Black. I'll catch it in a minute, but basically, it was like a upper class black neighborhood where the
Orange
black
is the new
men,
black.
huh? No, no.
Mhm.
But it was in Chicago. It's based in Chicago. They had black businesses. The neighborhood was black. You know, the black all the families knew each other. They looked out for each other. They protected the community, and it wasn't no foolishness in there until you let niggas from the hood move in there, which they was trying to do right. But guess what? They had trouble following them. And guess what happened? The people that was looking for the dude that moved in the community killed the wife, killed another brother's wife. He just came in just throwing discord. It's just like, damn, this was, an upper class black neighborhood doing well, and you had everything you needed, and then you get some nigga moving there, albeit he was trying to do right, but still, when you done shit in your past and you ain't pay for it, most times that shit gonna follow you, regardless of what you're trying to do. Or if you still dibbling and dabbling, or you owe somebody some money, somebody gonna come and see about that. No matter where you go. And that was the culmination of that. Brothers moving in, people didn't want that. They didn't want niggas moving in from the hood to the upper class area where they had communion, they had community. Everybody helped each other out. You had commerce, you had economics, you had all of that. But you let one in, and then here comes some trouble. That was the whole premise of it. I gotta look up that name, man. Y'all gotta check that out. And it's not to say nobody can change their life and do better and move out, because that's what we want people to do at the end of the day. But we just know that this ain't no rainbow coalition. This ain't no utopia where everybody just gonna be connected and everybody just gonna do well and we all gonna get together. No, just give me 300. Just give me 3%. Give me 3% of black people. We can do enough with that.
Well, you're not wrong, because we should be able to disagree and try your idea.
Right.
And if it don't work, we go to the next person.
Yeah, go back
But
to the
not
drawing board.
Yeah, go back to the drawing board, not to hate each other about it.
Right.
Because we seem like we want to be right more than get something done.
Right.
That's what I feel like with us a lot of times. People seem like we want to be right instead of getting something done. It was Dr. Claude, I think his name is Reverend Albert Cleage out of Detroit. And he said something that was profound. He was like, man, black people hung up on right and wrong. He said, I don't give a damn what's right and wrong.
Right.
I want to see what work and don't work.
You ain't lying.
He said, I don't give a damn what. This is a preacher now. He said, I don't give a damn what's right and wrong. I want to see what's work.
Right.
Like that stuck out a whole lot, man, because we do get hooked up on what's right or wrong, or what whomever you believe in think is right or wrong. Does it work or not?
Mm-hmm.
But we some religious zealots about a lot of different things, but let's find out what works and go with it, man. No matter whose idea it may be, if it works, it just works.
Right. Agreed.
Yeah, man. So, like I told the old man, they were like, we don't have no community meeting. When the last time they had a community meeting in your neighborhood, Chris? Me too.
Hey,
Well,
we got y'all beat.
To be fair, I live in the suburbs, and
No.
I'm
talking about your community where you grew up in.
Oh shit! Ain't no community meeting happening.
That's what I'm saying, bro. So who bringing topics to the table?
Hey, we got y'all beat now. We got y'all beat. That's why I like this. That's why I like. Well, I told the new representative, I say, man, I admire. I know you guys don't have it all, like y'all not all hokey dory, but this the first community that I've been in. You got the senator, the representatives, the city council, well, not city, but the county council, and the mayor of one of the municipals, all at the same table, coming together to put together some initiatives. Now,
Mhm.
some people have different initiatives, but how this guy is moving, let me tell y'all something. This this area is probably going to have some major improvements within the next 3 to 5 years. And I have never been in a community where, like you just said, starting with a community meeting, identifying the issues. He said something today. He said, now, this is how he moving, and I'm bringing y'all on the journey with me as we go. He said, I'm inviting these people to the table. Oh, who trying to get in? I'm sorry. I thought I hit it. I'm sorry. He said, I'm inviting these people to the table because one has a national audience, the other one has a state audience, and the other one has a global audience. He said, I don't care about what they got going on. If the national issue doesn't have a local relevancy, it is no use to me. Meaning that if she getting ready to bring something, if you bring something to me, an initiative to me, and it can't help my community, then you can't speak to my community. So basically, to kind of bring that home for you all, it's time out for bringing people to speak to our community that doesn't benefit you. You want to bring people in that is relevant and that is vital and that's going to help you move your community forward. So our first initiative is food insecurity, right? Helping the Black farmers increase their economics so that they could get their products in a more innovative way out to the consumer, to the buyers, so that they can produce more and they can be more advantageous to the community. So we're bringing in people who are involved with that on a national level and a state level versus just bringing out a motivational speaker to the event.
Almost like bringing a rapper.
Yeah, almost like, except
Yeah.
for and so we have entertainment, but guess what? They on the back end of that conversation. On the front
Oh,
end, on the front end of the conversation is the person who's dealing with the food insecurities and the first person who is communicating with the farmers. And by having those farmers in the room, oh, and then check it out. Now watch the design. You have the subject matter expert on the field that knows the national conversation about food insecurities and how to get the money, right? Two, you have the person who is in conversation with all the farmers in the state. Three, you have the person who's over environmental services who has the grants for food insecurities and knows how and is a consultant to teach you how to put your proposal in correctly so you can land the grant. And four, you have all the community, invite all the community based organizations, all the nonprofit organizations to the same conversation, but prior to that day, get them ready by providing a training for them to ensure they have all of the areas of a nonprofit have all them blocks checked. So when in the end of the month or the beginning of November, we have this session, nobody can come in the room and raise their hand and ask what's a NAX code. But instead, they'll be in there saying, sign me up, I'm ready. Which one of these grants I can go at? Which one is mine? Which one should my proposal be submitted for?
Mhm.
That's community action. That's community engagement. That's community coming together, and that's how it actually works, by using funding that's available to hire the subject matter expert who has the ear of the grantors, and then training your people. Remember when I first started coming live with Garfield in 2016, I came with the government contracting mindset, trying to teach people how to get their certifications so that they can land government contracts. Why? Because what was happening during that time? Them damn hurricanes. I don't
Right.
know if y'all remember that, but them hurricanes was going on at that time, and the contract, our general contractors weren't getting any of the contracts. They were doing studies trying to figure out why the minority contractors, which y'all know they talking about us, aren't getting their fair share of the contracts.
Yeah, I
And it,
remember. 'Cause
yes,
I was trying to get one for my organization down here.
yes, it was because they didn't have those certifications, which is something that they put out there for us. So right now, we're gonna be in the same boat. I bet you any money NAACP is crying that all of the contract work that's probably going on in Western Tennessee, Asheville, in Georgia, and Florida is not going to minority contractors. We back in the same boat we were in 2016 and 17. Same
Mm.
thing. How do you move the needle forward? Same thing you all just said. Same thing Coach just said. Who's that? What are we talking about at the community table? What ideas are being brought forward? And if they are being brought forward, how do we get those fulfilled?
Right.
The only way you get those fulfilled is if you have your political figure. We also have the university. I forgot to say that. Your political figure, be honest with y'all, your political figure is who can help drive the ship. Why? Because if you got somebody with a political influence, these subject matter experts, these grantors, they want to be in the building because they feel like they're going to get some favor. Because remember, when bills are written, they're written on the influence of who? Corporations, right? We talked about this on Sunday. Corporate influence, corporate interest, where the money is going, right? So if the people are going to get more money based on whether or not some representative or some senator co-signs a bill for a particular pot of money that greases their pockets, then political influence kind of is your driving force. Because if that person puts his name on your initiative, everybody coming to it. They coming to the table. You're gonna get that subject matter expert. You're gonna get that professor for the research that you need. And you're gonna get some key players to help you move your event forward.
So if I hear you right, we gotta learn how to vote too. Then,
Yes,
if I hear
yes,
you right, that's basically what I heard you say. We gotta
yes,
learn how to vote. We gotta stop voting on who we like or who we think we like, and vote on who can get the job done, no matter if they purple or pink.
yes.
So you got 2 years to get this done. These are our agenda items. If you can't get it done, you won't be here again.
That's a. Let's say that.
I got you.
Cause
But like I
cause
said, they trained us how to. They trained us from get go how to vote on who we like. That's the sad part about it. Because class president wasn't based on anything. Homecoming queen wasn't based on anything.
mm,
All those things wasn't based on nothing. They was based on who we liked.
mm,
So now I hear a lot of people older than us, or even younger than us, say, "Oh, I like such and such." We don't know nothing about these people besides the commercials they show. We have no clue about them. But again, we've been trained about who we like, instead of any kind of substance that follow them, though. So I understand. I mean, I get it, man. I get it.
Yeah. It's called black and privilege. That's what it's called.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, we We need that, man. We need the resources, the manpower, and you need families. Gotta have families.
Right.
I'm gonna show you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna show you without showing. And I've showed this to Coach before, but I don't want to show. I'm gonna show you without showing. Let's see if I can. Let me share my phone. And this person has taught me so much over the last 3 months. It's crazy. Let's see. And to Chris's point, you know, people don't want you can't let everybody into your community. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, I see it.
Incredibly young player that now they're.
So this is the type of fun. This is the type of funding this individual
It's time for the Warriors and Kings
is.
back
This is the type of experience. This is how they getting things done
all of
in the
this.
community.
Take it away, my friends.
Now
Well
this is the past. This is from 01. I'm gonna move it forward a little bit to where we are now for Carolina, right here. Right.
Playoff series since 2004.
This from so I've learned
Joining
when Garfield used to talk about an abandoned town
Yeah.
and get you a team.
Warriors.
This speaks to that. So in the Lower Richland area, there's 3 little rural towns, but one has an actual municipality. So this representative has leveraged that municipality to land funds.
plus that urgency had to do with championship.
Right? And that's why you see all of these, you see the town of Eastover. He's already brought in, well, at that point, in September, he had brought in 1.2 million, right? And that 1.2 million, a lot of it went towards a community project with students, right? And he's also just brought in another 96,000 plus another 250,000, right? All by leveraging this municipality and using multiple nonprofit organizations to create a water program,
Who's been a fantastic three-point
an
shooter.
infrastructure program,
The offensive side of this, because we know plays one of the best shooters of all
and I
time.
think the other one is a
Melton is a 36
air monitoring.
from downtown.
The water, air monitoring, and now we're getting ready to go into food insecurities.
Three could potentially get it done for them, Dave. George, on the other side, you got
So
seven.
what I'm saying is that when you have
It's excellent culture.
when you have
around the head coach,
when you have your local officials,
seems like a perfect
if you have at least one on your team that you can leverage them, especially if you're a pretty good community-based organization, can leverage them to support your initiative, then they can help you bring in
Nightly works
subject matter experts. So I'm gonna just tell y'all how we doing it here. We partner with the university, right? I'm gonna use Chris's community-based garden, the community garden as an example. So then you all, what's the closest university in your community?
So always tell me, like, don't jump off the porch.
Chris,
It just season.
What's the closest university or college in your community?
I know university or college in the suburbs.
USC.
Okay, Sonny, USC. Okay, so at US, if you were going to do a community-based garden, you would go to USC and partner with who you would find if there's a either a public health or agriculture professor or department.
What is at the end?
right?
Public
And
health or agriculture department. I mean,
right,
professor.
right, or science. It would be environmental science though, because those professors, a lot of the universities are getting funding for community engagement. That means they want to partner with a community to help either with an initiative they already have or one that you have. So for example, we created a group called that for testing water, right? So we partnered with the University of South Carolina Public Health Department and Environmental Science, and they have a water club. So you would find out if they have some type of club or association, right? That professor is, if he's a advisor for it. And so that water club came out and taught the teenagers at the high school, but we had a science teacher at the high school collect to influence some students to want to learn about environmental science, and we chose water as the first thing to do. So we taught them, we wrote a grant and partnered with those college students who was in that club, right? Wrote the college students into the grant and wrote the high school students into the grant. And we taught them how to test water, how to monitor water in your community. You need water to do what? Grow your crops.
Right.
If the water is contaminated, your crops won't grow. Does that make sense? Now in the
Yeah.
same sense,
Hey, the TV in the background, can you mute that? It's kind of getting loud. I can't really hear.
it's not, I think that's Christmas. There you go. So remember I said before, so it's twofold that we can go after agriculture money. You can go after public health money because if you grow the proper nutrition, the proper foods, then that helps with students' nutrition, right? So the public health professor, you would find out if that professor is doing any work or on youth health or youth initiatives, or you could ask them, hey, I'm looking for an RFP to write or to get a grant to teach kids how to identify healthy foods. Would you be
I,
interested in helping me
I was
write that
going,
grant?
yeah, I was going to ask you something like close to it because with my cooking business, we don't have it's not a nonprofit organization, but I wanted to do something towards something like a donating thing, but not too much. I don't know. I wanted to get in the donating field.
Right. So you would want to do it. So you would want to also have a nonprofit. So for everybody who has a for-profit, you also need yourself a nonprofit.
Me?
Because that's your yep, coach. It's time for you to get one. It's definitely time for you to get one. That's where your charitable piece will come in at, right? And if you already make your own money, if you're not seeking a grant, then you can use your nonprofit to do the charitable piece. If you're seeking a grant, you could pay your for-profit the consulting fee for the nonprofit.
Yeah, I need to be schooled on that.
Right?
Yeah.
Because your for-profit will be the one that's providing the services. Your nonprofit would be the one that's capturing the audience to be served. Your professors are the one that's writing the grants to help you meet your objectives for your nonprofit, or you're partnering with them to get to write a component of the grant, or maybe to collect data that would strengthen your grant, so they become a partner or a supporting services. And so your grant is strengthening by saying, hey, professor from university USC, and then you go even further and you partner with one of the government agencies, or you contact them to see. And I'm going to tell y'all right now, a lot of your environmental science and public health governmental agencies have grant funding. Let me show y'all something. Like ours is about to be hot and heavy. We got so much grant funds that's
And so
flowing
you'll be
through.
able to, because I'm really just learning that. Like ever since I got my house, I've been getting a lot of different phone calls and can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, and people mailing me different things as far as doing things for free and just based on their little programs that they have. And I was like, damn, like because the house I bought it was made in 1915, so it
Oh
qualifies
wow.
for like certain
Historical.
things.
So your house qualified like a historical location,
I'm gonna be
like
honest with
historical
you, I
property.
haven't even went through everything. I just bought it in August. Hey, what's up?
Oh,
What's up? Yeah, I just bought it in August, so I'm just going through all the motions. I just finished doing uh my trust, I just got my deed. Well, I had to go get my deed before I can create the trust, and then I put it in the trust. So I just started doing all of that stuff. Plus, I'm trying to get it fixed up the way I want it. Like it's a lot, and I'm still trying to work this BS 9 to 5. Still do my day trading. Still studying. So
You got a house though, little 1915. You got a really a house.
yeah, 3,900 square feet.
Or
Yeah. It's at that time it was big for to have a 3 bedroom, 1 bathroom with the den living room, washing room, all that other stuff.
Mhm.
But now, like in this time, it's kind of small, so I'm gonna expand it.
mm.
It's brick, huh?
Nah, and that's the thing. So like it since then it's been people that moved in and out and stuff like that. So they remodeled in different kind of structures. But nah, it's not brick. It's some of it is rotted wood. I gotta redo. Like it's a lot of stuff to it. Cause
I,
the windows is original, and it's that old wood, and like that's not gonna really function in today's society with the niggas kicking in shit.
I got
Mm. Let's see. So, so they got $4 billion in grant funds and other assistance agreements for small nonprofit organizations to large state government. Whole lot of money. This is under the EPA website, right? So if you want to get into looking for some funds and finding some funds, you might want to spend some time right here under these webinars. Different training opportunities, how to develop budgets. I spend every now and then I come on here and I listen in on the training because they teach you. We actually getting ready to have somebody come out and actually do that. They're going to teach you how to actually apply for the grant. Because what has happened is all of this money has been available, but people haven't been applying, or those who have applied don't get funded because they just missed the mark, not because they're not intelligent. It's just that the way the government put things in writing, you think they mean one thing, they actually try to mean something else. So now what they've started doing, because so many people have started to complain, is they've started training you how to submit your grant.
Interesting.
So, but you have to take the time and get on here and watch this stuff, right? So you can know what to do the first time. So I've been spending some time with this information and revamping my PowerPoints to try to get to the meat and potatoes of it and try to ensure that um I shared with others. So my PowerPoints are probably going to start to become real strong and some really good content that you could take and write up your own grant. Or we can spend some time some of these days out of the week and then go through these presentations together.
I would love to do that.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Because as you can see, each one is like 60 minutes. So we could take our time and do like one a day, decide on like what time of the night, once you got yourself together, and then just go through one at a time. And you could be able to write out your own grant and come up with the budget. And then once you have a good outline, then you could take that and find out we can look for what type of funds that's available in your areas. But this time you wouldn't be going to the grantor foundation corporation empty-handed. You would actually be going in with a really good product, and they wouldn't mind, funding, but you'd have some meat and some potatoes, you know?
Yes, ma'am.
Would you say, Coach? Because there's a lot of people out here who knows how to get funded. Sometimes people talk over your head. Now I'm gonna tell you, with this plan, because I don't mind doing this, like maybe like at like a 8:30, 9 o'clock at night type of deal. But with this plan comes a good marketing plan. So once you have your proposal done, then it would be like, okay, how do you want to fold that out? Because if you get a good marketing plan on how to drop, on social media, you know, um, then when you go to, even if you're just going to get sponsorship from a corporation, or, excuse me, you apply for a grant, you have all your ducks in a row. So that's my objective. My objective is to share. I mean, I've learned so much in the last 3 months, is to share content that you're going to be able to walk away with a finished product. And then you could go, and whatever your initiative is or whatever your ideas is for your community, you could go and you can make that happen. Even if it was financial literacy, right? Sonny, you've developed a good investment plan and how to go about doing what you're doing. Even if we were writing up financial literacy grant program for teenagers, young adults, young men, whoever y'all decide your audience is, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be business. It could be the financial literacy in the area where you already are. Chris wants to do the journal. The journal could be accompanied with the training, right? With the grant that trains. You could teach your journal. It could be twofold. It could be used as a training tool, and you could get funding for that. You guys could go to your workforce development. You could pitch your idea for coming up with a continuous education training for teaching self-sustainment. Instead of people working so hard, getting 2 jobs, you could teach them how to invest and invest their money, or in your case, Chris, create wealth, um, or secure your assets so that you can be your own lender, like we can really put this together. Go right there,
Let's do it then.
get a community a capacity building grant to teach, or get we could look for grants where it's educational. It's you could partner with the institution and go at these kids, get buddy with like the business department or the science department. Science is where it's at. So my idea is to have an initiative, but the finance piece be a part of it, right? So let's say, for example, someone wanted to be a farmer, right? Or they wanted to be what these kids is into these days in school.
A gamer.
A gamer, right? You may be good at being, doing games, but what about that money though? When you get paid, what are you doing with your money? Because like my friend, her daughter, she just graduated high school. She learned how to do nails. So my friend said, man, she always asking me for money, but she got a lot of clients. So she's in nail school to be a nail tech, really good at what she do. She have clients, she make money, but she always broke. So you could teach her how to be an entrepreneur with her business, but in the same sense, teach her financial literacy and how to grow her network. So it's twofold. So it could be a business, it could be entrepreneurship or philanthropy, or what's the other word they use? What's another word for entrepreneurship that they use in these days? So we'll find the right words, because once we are able to meet the same objectives of the grantors, then we can make it happen. Or once you guys think about the idea that you want to do. So Sonny, you have a catering business. Maybe you do a healthy food initiative, right? That would be the grant initiative. Your catering company is the contractor to the nonprofit organization. So you build the grant on healthy foods. The grant may secure the food, and the company may cook it, or the nonprofit may secure the grant and the company is the vendor for the grant to provide the food. Makes sense? Yeah. So in order to do that, we start with, okay, as Coach mentioned earlier, what's the concern on the table? So in his case, there's a house in a neighborhood. It's over, the grass. It needs some maintenance, yard maintenance, right? Don't know who it belongs to, but I tell you what, you cut that grass more than 10 times, it might be yours. I know somebody here had a veteran here that happened to them. They actually ended up being hospitalized, and the man next door was cutting his property and actually took some of his property when he got out, and the court wouldn't give it back to him. So, I think that we can make these live streams or these sessions more meaningful to your individual causes, and then begin to write to them, and then begin to create those community or identify those community partners with these grant opportunities, and build partnership relationships in your own AO, and then begin to meet a need in your community or meet a need in your neighborhood. Where you at, Chris? Coach, what you think?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what I think. Let me step out the car real quick, because I'm with my friend. You kind of loud. Um, I think that it'll be a cool opportunity. It gives me a better understanding of what I can and what I can't do. I'll um I'll definitely be on the page of if you want to do that this week, like we could definitely go over it one by one because I'm definitely trying to look for a different avenue and I'm always looking for another revenue stream. Like that's really the goal.
Mhm.
And people want to know how to really get out of anything. I don't care what it is. If you making $20 a day or you making $500 a day, just make it to where you making something every day, no matter what it
Mhm.
is. And these revenue streams count. So getting back to Black Emporium, I mean African Emporium, he teaches the compound interest. And being on the page of where if you keep on making revenue streams, like if you got four different revenue streams. One might be your job where you making like 500 to $1,000. You might have a hustle on the side making like $100 a day. You might have another hustle to the side that's only making you like an extra $200 for the week. You know what I'm saying? And putting all of that to the side, compounding that interest, you gonna really kill if you interest. I mean if you invest.
Yep, definitely. I was talking to someone. They said, "What if you don't have? What if those people don't have any money?" I'm like, "You got something. You gonna have to give up a snack or something."
No, I think that's why we should start teaching our kids about the stock market, right?
Mhm.
Because the conversations that we have, like I noticed that like I got a lot of homies into the stock market, right? It took years, but be honest, because a lot of I don't want to say it, but yeah, a lot of us be on some other stuff. But it took some years, but I got a lot of homies that's into the stock market now. They still don't want to hear nothing, no matter how much they see what I'm doing or whatever the case may be. But it's just the fact that it's slowly but surely getting them into it. And so, what we have to start introducing, in my opinion, may not be real, but it's my opinion. What we have to start introducing instead of the FOMO and scarce mentality that they teach you in the stock, right? We have to teach that in the household, and we have to teach our own family to not FOMO in this motherfucker or not have a scarce mentality when it comes to investing. And so I feel like we came in reverse and we started being on the page to where we were teaching our kids not to be in debt, not to be on the page of getting credit cards, not to be on the page of doing this, not to be on the page of doing that. But at the same time, you become a big consumer. And so your money is slowly dwindling down and the dollar is steadily going down every year and you're not making enough to really survive like that. But at the same time, you're not teaching yourself to invest, and that's the biggest thing to really survive out here. You have to invest.
Yes. I feel that because when I'm noticing when I speak to people or when you start talking about finances, they don't have a problem with spending the money. And I used to be like this, but boy, if you say take the money and put it away, even though they know it's they're gonna get a gain or return, it's still hard for them to see that. But you'll spend two thousand, dollars discretionary money every month on trivia things. But if you say, hey, take them 2,000 every other month and put it away into an investment, boy, it's like you just put a dagger in their heart. Or if you
Well,
say ten
that's why I
dollars,
say it starts from the home with the scarcity mind frame, right? So the scarcity mind frame is on the page of if I save it, I can lose it. And
Mm-hmm.
so if I spend it right now, I can win.
Mm-hmm.
And
And
so
and
that's
and,
how we
and there
start
is
doing.
no win. And if
No,
you ask,
it's not a win, but it's a short
yeah,
time game. It's
yeah.
the oxytocins in
Mm-hmm.
your brain starts kicking in, and it really starts making it where you just like, yeah, you got that rush. Like, I'm buying this, I got that rush. But then you have that bad feeling. It's like going to the casino. Like, I just got paid. I got $3,000 right now. I go to the casino, I come back, baby, we can't pay the rent. Like, you know what
Mm.
I'm saying? It's that kind of feeling. And we struggle with that on a day-to-day basis, and that's why we have the most the stress and depression going through our community. This is why we have all these goddamn problems going through our community. It
Oh,
starts with the home. It starts with us not having real structure because everything's broken up because of entertainment. Everybody's following all the kind of shit that they see in the streets, see on the TV, stuff like that, and it messes everything up versus like you can't even have real conversations with people now. Well, I'll say our people. You can't even have real conversation when it comes to politics or religion or anything like that without somebody going crazy or going off the handle. You know what I'm saying? So it has to start from the home first.
yeah. So one of the we have, I'm super impressed with, like, we have a well, we're headed in the direction. There's a lot of youth
Yes.
initiatives
Yeah.
in
Yes.
in the sciences, right? So I was speaking to one of my buddies. She said, "Oh, Mo, I was talking to my nephew, and he said he liked environmental science." And I looked at him like, "What you know about environmental science?" He said, "Well, I like math and I like environmental science. We learning about it in school." And she had heard us having a conversation about environmental justice, so she called me. She got me on the phone with him, and so I put him on to the National Association of Black Ecologists, and then Norfolk State uh, University, because they have a summer program in environmental science, and it teaches the youth on how to become eco scientists, and they give like a $14,000 stipend. Man, he got so excited or whatnot. And she was like, "How do you know?" I said, "Because there's a lot of programs that the youth can get involved with early. If someone says, 'Hey, I want to be a farmer,' automatically find the association associated with it, see if they have elementary, middle school, high school membership, and sign them up. Take them to the conferences, because that's going to expose them in a whole nother way. Same thing about the finances, right? They have those conferences, but because we don't, my one of my cousins, his son, he said, my son said he want to be a chemist. And I was like, "Bro, what you gonna do with chemist?" And so when he started talking, I said, "Wait, hold on, don't you discourage that young man." I said, "Hold on, I'm about to find you someone." So I found the National Black Association of Black Chemists, and they had scholarship program, because he was like, "Man, what you gonna do with that?" La, da, da, da. He was just going on and on and on. And I said, "Hold on, I'm about to show you something." So I shared my screen. I showed him. He said, "Get the hell out of here." I would have never thought. And he was like, "Man, how do you find all this stuff?" I said, "Well, because I was in the National Association of Black Accountants, I learned that there's an association for every career field. And so when your young adult is interested in a particular career field, you want to take them to those conferences and expose them to these different educational fields. And soon as you think that a career field doesn't make money, they actually do." And then there was a female. She just got a PhD. I forgot what science field. Just as lost as a puppy. Wasn't really sure what to do with it, how to work it. So what we did was, because we had just come back from the science conference, there was a professor there, black guy from the Tennessee State University. He was teaching the students, the PhD students, how to engage with the community, how to take their research, connect with a community-based organization based on the need of the community under the banner of environmental justice, so they can become their own entrepreneur, their own business owner, use their own research, galvanize around these different grants, write themselves into it, and help the community-based organization and help the community. Man, that junk was so lit when that guy got up there and said that and started talking to them about how to use their research to help their community and how to bridge the gap between them and community-based organizations, because they was just at this point was just researchers, you know. So it's a lot of I think Coach said it earlier. We have a lot to learn. But guess what? We're not going to get over the rainbow unless we put our first foot forward, unless we put our own shark tanks together, you know. But, people always whine and say, oh, Mo, don't nobody watch your show. So, yep, that's some same bodies that's broke too. That's them same bodies who kids, they probably don't know how their kids gonna pay for college. That's them same bodies who running around and working 2 or 3 jobs. I mean, we can should I say more? The same bodies trying to figure out if they got hit by the hurricane, what they gonna do tomorrow. Because they didn't secure one of their resources of funding is not something they can tap in and be their own lender. That same body who gonna be whining about that 750 because they don't know how to secure their own bag. I mean, I'm just saying. Just saying. But anyways,
No, you just saying right. I'm shoot.
yeah. Mix. And then when you try to sit and you try to explain this to your battles who probably in that situation, so I remember when you first got excited about your progress with trading and getting getting the things that you've been able to obtain, and then being able to share with your homeboys and things of that nature, and having that excitement and that passion and just moving forward. And I remember when Coach hadn't had his first house with his first 2 clients yet. I remember them 3 years. I remember him waiting patiently, putting all this stuff together, getting a mentor, seeking out training, finding people who can help in different areas. Now he owned his second house, doing it big, relaxed, gave out his first 3 scholarships last year. That's exciting. You know,
You forgot one thing.
what I do? What I forgot.
You forgot to say if it wasn't for you, I
No,
wouldn't have been doing a whole lot of stuff, girl.
he would have been on YouTube still arguing and debating.
No, heck no. If I wasn't for you, man,
Look,
I ain't even gonna lie to you now. I'd be gang banging stupid hard out here. Like
look,
I'll be on some other shit.
I can
If
tell you
if,
how I
if it
got
wasn't
you.
for you.
How I got you
Yeah.
on the show.
Yeah.
I was on Garfish show, and it was used to be you and Thunder, you and Thunder, you and Thunder, and I was like, and Thunder, I didn't know Thunder was already trading, but when you guys came on the show, and we see your knowledge or whatever. And Thunder was already a trader, but you weren't. And your research knowledge, I'm like, man, Sunny are gonna be really good at this. And I remember you didn't want to be, you was not gonna be on the show no more. You wasn't gonna come back or whatever, because you were like, man, I don't know what y'all talking about, how you do, but you stuck around and you look again, shit, you done develop your own lane, you making money, you just doing your thing, which is
Well,
pretty
it
cool.
started from it's crazy because I really got worked out of some money, and that's what like in the beginning stages it was like I put in like $20 and I was like, oh shit, I got $50. I was thinking it was fake, like oh, I ain't got no real money, like, and then I was able to take it out and I was like, oh shit, I really can make some money out of this. And then so that's what started my thing. And then when I made that 17,000 and they on that fake bank bullshit with the crypto, I was over that. And then it made me start really studying and really being on my stock shit. And
Mhm.
now, yeah, I love it. I'm great. I ain't even gonna like not boasting or bragging. Like But yeah, I'm great at that shit. I could have so many different conversations just based on learning about the stock. Like I could talk about everything that's going on in the world, like everything.
And you know what's cool is the fact that when you set out to learn something, and you could tell someone, the time and the effort that you put into it. Whereas some people, they want it instantaneously, you know, instead of taking their time so they can actually really comprehend it and they can really do it on their own. And when it comes down to life, surviving life, if you don't have if you didn't create the way, it's hard for you to sustain. And some people, the only thing they know is to go find the easy benefit, which doesn't allow you to grow. And that's what
Hey,
drives.
I'm not even gonna lie to you. Like, there's paths and pitfalls that you're gonna go through. Like, especially if you start making money. Like this year was what? Yeah, this year was the first year I had to actually pay taxes. You know, usually everybody be like, yeah, I'm gonna receive such and such, and I made so much money last year that I had to pay taxes, and I never seen that ever. And I was like, what the? I thought something was wrong, but yeah, you got to figure some shit out.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Remember,
You definitely got
so
to
when I
figure some
was
shit
talking
out.
about, so when I was talking having the shows on taxes, see, that's something that you didn't really think that was that went with
No, I
trading.
just no, I wasn't I
Paying
didn't have
attention.
enough money. So this is the thing we got to have a show about too,
What?
right? When you start like people be bullshitting and people be on the page of like they don't think that you could really make money like that. They like what in whatever the hell we teaching because we teach everything.
I
And the
know.
way I got my house is the way we teach. The way I'm making money right now is the way we teach. The way
Mhm.
I'm paying my taxes is the way we teach. So you can really make money and really be progressive off the way we teach. And I came from nothing, literally not having nothing. So it's a difference. And it's on the page of where if you really focus on it and you really pay attention to the these things that we're actually or that Monica Lamb, Dr. Monica Lamb is actually teaching us, it makes a difference. Like, you know what I'm saying? Some of us just be listening to the show and people put likes and shit like that, or they make comments and shit like that. But if you really be paying attention to what's really going on, it can really benefit your life.
That's
And
true.
that's what people don't understand.
I remember with Coach. I remember with Coach. When Coach had stopped working. Coach had stopped working, and he was in Atlanta with his parents. And Coach just be chilling, he like la 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 la. I got my business. I'm working on it. I'm putting a plan together. And then you look up, Coach almost a billionaire. I thought he was gonna look at the camera
Man,
that.
it can
But
happen like that.
he has
I'm
an
telling you.
initiative. He has an initiative. And Sonny, you might want to talk with Coach one day because this might be something you could actually do in California. That intellectual disability model plan is a very lucrative one and is one in which if you have ambition for business and something simple that's not labor intensive, and it just takes you getting a house and having some patience and knowing how to deal with people, um and keeping paperwork together. And if you got a little mini team between you and your girl, man, this might be something you could get into in your area in California. Um, you know, and Coach could be the mentor because duplicating processes is where he went. He gone.
Oh, son.
He must have dropped off. I think he would do. I think he could do really good in that arena.
But to the point you're making, though, man, you're gonna suffer. You're gonna make mistakes. So get ready for all that stuff. It's just a part of it's just a journey. It's a part of
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Anybody who don't want to feel pain, you might as well forget it. Anybody who don't not think you're not gonna have any bad days, you may as well forget it. But you know what your goal is. Like brother said, he wasn't even doing stocks at one time, but now he do it like it's like waking up. I'm getting to the point where it's my group home is almost automated, and that was my goal to try to have it automated, whether I'm there or not. And me working on my second home, the first home is almost automated, so now I got to work on the second home being automated. So it's a process, but you can't rush it though. Monica, she met my mentor Johnny Montgomery. So they got a process. Dude got like 139 employees and like 12 houses. So that's a model for me to follow. But it's worth it, man. It's worth it, bro. I think he was. I think I talked with Chris last year about trying to get him down here to even teach young kids about stocks and stuff like that. And that shit is gonna be in the works for the next year. But Chris, our focus is all these gonna be 6 through 14 though. I'm gonna let the world deal with the other kids, man.
All right.
Hey, that works for me.
Yeah, I'm
And
gonna let the
Teachable.
that's why your journal gonna be super important. And I don't know if I told you, Coach. My cousin started a football league in my hometown. He got his nonprofit paperwork back today, called Dream Academy. And Keon's gonna do the first camp March the 29th for him.
it's stuff. It's plenty of stuff for us to do that I do know. There's plenty of stuff for us to do. I think I think one of you guys said it earlier about being creative. I'm about to be creative, and every time I say I got to give $1. Oh wait, so at the end of the month I got to give $1 and put it to the side. Every time I say when I'm speaking in the sentence, I got to give $1. At the end
You
of the month
practicing on
I
your
got
Toastmaster?
yeah. Every time I say I got to donate $1, and at the end of the month it got to go somewhere
Go
to
to
make
my
myself
scholarship.
got to go somewhere. So I got to make myself accountable if I'm gonna be in front of people speaking and trying to convey a message or something that can benefit them. But it's a lot for us to do. But I know it won't get done by one person. It got to be a collective group of individuals. And I think the platform that you guys are on helps all of us because everybody's not doing the same thing. So that in itself builds Voltron because everybody does not have the same role to play. And I think people got to accept their role. And you got to be able to take critique and follow directions from somebody. If you can't take that, you might as well just get out the way.
Yes. And Ali doesn't come on often, but he has a very beneficial business model as well. What he has going on with agriculture.
No doubt. I agree.
We have, of course, AE, and Chris has become so savvy in his financial what do you call it? Financial advisory capacity that he's studying that I've been listening. Everybody is growing, and I had to come to grips of I was losing my vocabulary by not being amongst high valued individuals. So now I got a little buddy I done picked up in my little circle. She's very savvy, very,
The
very
lady
savvy.
you was talking about that you was impressed with?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, she's very savvy. So I've been changing how I communicate, and it makes me slow down when I speak as well.
I got
So
that problem too.
yeah, I had to slow down, man. I was like you just said, you can't come on and speak it. No, I think Sonny said it a second ago. You can't come on and expect everybody to understand what you're saying outright, right? Now, here's my dilemma, and you guys can speak to this if you want to. Here's my dilemma with community. So we have access to all of this technology and this instantaneous information, and AI has made it even better. Why would you want to be involved in an area and don't go and do any research on it and expect the facilitators, which would be us, to teach you everything? That's unfair. Like, you got to come with some type of working knowledge. Where's your invested interest in what you say that you want to be a part of? So
Repeat that last part again, Mo. Why would you
how
expect what? Why would you what now?
how do you expect me as a facilitator to teach you every aspect of what you're trying to learn? Where's your responsibility in doing some research so that when you come to the table, you have something to either offer, or I don't have to spend time going over things that you should have at least researched first? Like, why am I responsible for teaching you everything? Why can't I stick to the more difficult areas of the project? Why do I have to come back and teach you how to spell your name?
Right.
The only answer I can give you, if you're gonna be a teacher, you gotta teach more.
Yeah. Tired already.
That's the best answer I can give you. If you're gonna be a teacher, you gotta teach.
But I think that's the reason our community get left behind.
I know I've messed up in the
Like
past.
Because
if you're gonna be a teacher, you gotta teach. You gotta teach from the completely stupid to the extremely smart.
But I think that we should have somebody should have taught you that you have to have some level of responsibility in what it is you're trying to learn. So because we have to do that, that's why we having a session to the session. So all the nonprofits, we're sending them through a training before they come to the training, so that they can have some working knowledge of what it means to have a nonprofit and what are your responsibilities of a nonprofit.
I think you just said it plain as day. So once you get them in front of you, now you can have those expectations. Prior to that, you can't have any expectations because they haven't been around you. But once
But
they're
that's
part of your group, now you can explain no expectations. But if you're going to get some drunk junkie off the street and try to say, hey, you need to be disciplined, you got to start
but,
from zero.
but wait, now we're not talking about drunk junkies. We're talking about individuals who are in business for whatever reason. It's like we start something, but we don't. It's like it's like you learn in grade school, high school, but everything you were taught goes out the window. Like, is a reason that you would sit through an educational system. That means that before you do anything, you have to educate. But we don't want to do that. We want somebody to come and tell us, and that's why we get left behind. I'm telling you, we get our. Go ahead, Chris. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I ain't say nothing.
Oh, our community is getting left behind in opportunities because we are behind in the foundation of an entity, meaning what is the function of a business? What's the function of a nonprofit? What's the function of a social group?
But check it though, check it out, Mo. Everything you're saying right, but again, that goes to the assumption that you were taught that from get go. Now I speak with every time I get in the Uber car with the brothers from the continent. They always talk business. They don't talk
Yes.
employee.
Yep.
They don't talk employee. We talk employee. They talk business.
So
So
true. They talk from an overseer perspective, and we talk from an employee perspective.
right. So again, that's what we were taught. We were taught employee from get go. We weren't taught business from get go. Even though I'm learning. I'm still learning business. I'll be forever learning business until it's over with for me. even when I got this group home going, it was a bunch of stuff I still don't know about this group home stuff. So that's why you go get mentors. So like the old man and me was talking today in the neighborhood. Some people just don't have that same kind of drive or to seek out those type of things. So sometimes we need a kick in the ass.
But that should be our responsibility. It should be your responsibility to make that initial step, because you make things hard for the facilitator that we have to bag up. Because if someone gives you a prerequisite, so what we have to do, and I say, man, that's why teachers used to give us prerequisites before we come to class when school start. We had these books that we had to read before you came to class to get you ready for the class. So if we give you prerequisite and you don't do your due diligence, then you put the pressure on us. But then in the same sense, it become a failed process for you because you may get left behind because you didn't do the prerequisite.
But that's true. Now, I don't disagree with that part, Mo. We're on the same page with that. Once you're given the prereqs and you don't do the prereqs, it's on you, not player. Now, we don't have a disagreement there at all. But once you're given the prereqs and you don't do them, I'll fall back at that point. I'm not gonna beg you to be what you say you want to be. No. We're on
So
the
I
same
think
page with that, Mo. But let's get the prereqs out of the way, though. We're on the same page with that.
So I think this is where, these underground, these put some time away. So if you want to be involved with something, say, okay, how much time am I going to dedicate to this? Zion Lamb, get off that phone. If you're gonna block some time away and say, okay, we're gonna get started with this, and this is how we're gonna break our timeline down, and this is how we're gonna meet our deliverables, and then go for it. But don't wait for it to be somebody else's responsibility to build up your community if you're not putting a plan together
No
to do
doubt.
it.
100%. Because I'm gonna ask y'all questions about because I want to eventually have that community meeting with my community and to see who will come out and participate. And I'm gonna need to know the best way to approach it to see can we get the best outlook on it. Because I would like to see my community look different.
I'm gonna tell you right now, come up with a survey and find out who would be interested in said topics, like identify what topics you would like to address.
Ask that question, ask the community what topics you would like to address.
You would identify some, so you could take, so this is what we did. We took a Google, let me show you. Let's see if I can show you.
Chris, what part of Texas you in?
Houston.
Okay, in H-Town.
Flying down. So we took a Google Drive. Let me show you how simple. The freeway. Took a Google Drive. Uh-oh. And you could create. So on Google Drive, when you go to your Gmail, you go right here and you stroll down. Oh, what is it? And you look for forms, and you can go to forms, right? And then there's some some templates that are already there, right? And let's see. You can go, let me see. Let me see. All right, this one. Let's look at this one. So you want to create a survey. So you would have that person, they will put their name, their email, if they're part of an organization or not. And then these are the questions we ask initially. Are you able to spot a problem? Is it important to spot being able to spot a problem in the community is really important when working with a community project. When creating a plan, actually putting it into action is key to make it work. And this is just gauging who's answering the questions, right? Where their mind at. I have the ability to overcome obstacles that interfere with achieving community or collective goals. I'm willing to commit 5 to 10 hours per month to assist in solving issues in my community. I'm interested in advocating on behalf of the community for environmental justice. Well, it don't have to be environmental justice. It could be something else, right? Identify an environmental problem or social issue you have noticed in your community. Provide a time when you created a plan of action. If not, create a plan of action in your community for the community issue you have identified. What are your strengths and areas of expertise? What other communities do you have? Are you interested in advocating on behalf of the whatever that community is? And then give a scenario. If you are a community leader in whatever community it is, and during a recent public meeting, 2 community members had an open disagreement over the proposed environmental cleanup project. One member is concerned about potential impact on local wildlife, and another is focused on the immediate health benefits to the community. Both have a valid point, but their quarrel is causing division amongst the community members. As a community leader, how would you approach resolving this disagreement to ensure that both concerns are addressed and the community can move forward with unified vision? So basically, the only reason we put this together like this is to see who is interested in actually being a part of a community, right? Let me go back.
Well, Chris, number 10 that you talked about, me and Chris kind of touched on that earlier. Just
Yes.
because we disagree with something don't mean we gotta hate each other, be mad at each other. Maybe it just works now. And maybe I'll give you a financial example
Mhm.
of what the last client that I interviewed for.
Mhm.
He's gonna be the third individual in the house. So when you get a new individual, they come to a new environment from an old environment. Maybe they have just third time I did it. Maybe they have did something to get them out of their environment. So when they come to your environment, you want them for 90 days to have 2-to-1 staffing. So you can have eyes on them, have 4 eyes on them at all times, even when they're asleep.
Mhm. Mhm.
But they did not advocate for us getting that 2-to-1 staffing. So I said, okay, cool. We'll back off of that because it seemed like that was an issue. So I'm acquiescing to it. I said we'll take 1-to-1 staffing and then we'll work on the 2-to-1 staffing. So if I would have kept fighting the 2-to-1, it probably would have never came through. Also, I mean, it never ended up working out anyway. But I understand that sometimes you just have to give in and say, okay, bet, no problem. Let's try it this way. So
Right.
I went from potentially making $1,300 a day to $700 a day dealing with this individual, just as an example. So sometimes you just got to ease off and work things out. I don't have again. We can't be right all the time. Nobody is.
Right. And you can, like you said, implement one plan, and when that one doesn't work, let the person see that, hey, okay, your plan didn't work out, so we're gonna go to the next plan.
Okay, so when that happens, how does ego not take over from the person who said, "I told y'all such and such and such and such and such and such"?
Well, that's inevitable, and it
Okay,
can
gotcha.
happen. And the only way you combat ego is if you begin to do team building type exercise. If they're part of your team,
Right.
do
Okay,
team
gotcha.
building exercises where you understand that it's not like my commander used to tell me, discretion is better than valor. So you don't always have to make it known to the world that you are right in the situation. It's just a matter of,
So it's about the team at the end of the day.
It's about the team.
about the team
Exactly.
at the end of the day. It's about the community at the end of the day. So
Correct.
no matter who was right or wrong, it's about us moving forward. So how do
That's
we
right.
move forward?
But the only way you do that is continue it. You have staff have to do um team building exercises, and
Yeah.
the more you work together outside of the work environment, the more cohesive you begin to plan together. So then it won't be a "I got you" moment. And sometimes some people just gonna always have an ego. So,
No doubt.
but at least you would be able to gel better together. So here's another survey where we did name, phone number, organization, gender, where did they find the event. This is more what you would be looking for. You would put it out to community. You'd put this survey out. Um, and then you choose your areas of interest. So this is ours, right? Yours may be different. You have to decide, okay, what are my community needs? You know, yours may be community landscaping, youth programs. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Things of that nature, right? So it depends on what's your areas of interest, and you want to list them out. What do you think? Some things like when you're talking to your homeboys or whatever, y'all come up with, but your initiatives need to be geared around so you need to think, what is a global concern, what's a national concern, and what's a local concern. So all three of those areas, you have to find at least those initiatives need to be a part of all those areas. Why? So when you go after funding or you having those conversations, it has to be relevant in all three areas. Because otherwise, you'll have an initiative, but the world won't care about it. So you have to make your initiative. So, for example, right? If you're trying to if you're trying to clean up the neighborhood, okay? If you're trying to clean up the neighborhood, then for you it may be cleaning up the neighborhood. For the state, or for the county, it might be hazardous, or environmental safety, or youth safety. It could be health safety, you know, public health. Because if the environment is trash, then that's going to affect the health of the people, right?
No doubt.
And then in a nation, it might be what did I say it? I forgot. I said it right, and I still forgot it. But anyways, it could fall under public health. That's why I want to go with that. Right. But for you, it's just mainly cleaning up the neighborhood. So you have to know how to go after the initiative, right? It could be let's say youth program, or here's another one. Yeah, youth programs. Well, it could be type 2 diabetes might be high in your area. Well, you develop the football program will help if the kids are getting the running is exercise, right? And the exercise is gonna help with the type 2 diabetes, because then they would be participating in health initiatives. But the medical field is the medical concern is the global and the nation's issue by how to keep kids off of medicines. Well, you can only do that by getting them involved in exercise.
No doubt.
But for you, it's a youth program. So instead of just going after the actual program, the specific sports program, you're looking for medical concerns, because the medical concerns is going to drive the grant funding. That makes sense.
Don't make all the sense to work, because you just gave three examples. You gave environment, you gave health. There was one. You had environment, health, and what was the other? It was three. Environment, health, and something else. Environment, health, and what was the third one?
Environment. I
Public
said public
safety.
safety. Yes.
Okay. So
So
all three of everything you just named is something that can be attacked in my community. All three of
yes,
them.
right. So if you were, so when you go to your Gmail, you would go right here. When you open up your Gmail, you see these dots right here? You would click right there. You would stroll down and you will look for forms. And when you click on forms, you can really start it. You can really start it from scratch. You go to contact information, right? And then when you hit add, hold on, let me scroll down. When you click add right here, add a question, you want to build the question. You could just say, what are your community issues, right? And then you go over here to paragraph and you put it on multiple choice. It's already on multiple choice. And so one, you would say public health. Now, public health could fall under many things. It could be access to community. It could be access to healthcare. It could be access to healthy foods. You see what I'm saying? So that could cover two things. You can say public health. You can say neighborhood safety. What was the other one I talk about?
Let me see.
Oh, youth programs.
Yeah.
We'll take it even further. Watch how I make that. Watch how I spin this. Use STEM programs. So we have to learn how to use our sciences, right?
No doubt.
So if I was to do football, I can turn a football initiative, a youth program, from a football perspective into initiative by teaching the kids about the field that they are playing on, right? So some football, well, a lot of football in communities are played on grass, right?
Or turf.
Or turf. But what's the likelihood of y'all having some turf?
Slim to none.
Exactly. So 9 out of 10, you're going to be playing in a grassy area, right? That grass or that environment could pose danger to the youth in some form or fashion in several ways. The pesticide that gets sprayed on the grass to keep it from having certain types of weeds, right? So you could teach the kids about different pesticides. You could teach the kids about certain grass or how grass grow. You could teach the kids about how much water, uh, when to water, how much water, why is water important to water the fields. You see where I'm going with that?
Yeah.
All that, you took that and implemented that in the football program. The football program is to galvanize the student, because otherwise you may not get 80 kids in your program if it wasn't football.
Mm-hmm.
But because I got you, one of the prerequisites is you participate in the STEM initiative, which means one day out of the week, we are studying, maybe we're teaching you how to test water or monitor water in the community. Why? Because that same water drains on your is used to water the field, all of which you're going to be falling on. And if there's some type of contaminant in that water, it could affect you. Make sense?
I mean, yeah, you tying everything together. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yes, but I'm showing you how to get funding. So I just used my whole football program and tied that into a STEM program and narrowed it down to a specific area of STEM to make money that's going to not just benefit my STEM program, but also benefit my students in the football program.
So
Because my STEM program might give me opportunity to give my football students a stipend. But I
before
can't have a STEM program without having a football program because my students won't participate if they're not attached to something recreational.
gotta get the nonprofit done before the year with that, man.
But you see how that worked?
Yeah, I mean, you tied it all in together perfectly, and they
Right.
they they go with each other without an issue.
Yes. Now check it out. And then you connect with the the science teacher because the science teacher is going to drive your water quality program, and you're going to benefit her or him, and he's going to benefit you. You're in charge of the kids playing the football, and they're in charge of making sure that those kids participate in that water. You making sure those kids participate in that science program project, because that science project gonna put money in that teacher pocket and yours
No doubt.
and the kids.
Yeah, so we got to get Chris down this way at some point.
Oh, and the other one was a financial literacy.
I heard you guys talk
Or
about that when I went and took a
what
shower. I
kid?
think the
What kid?
Sonny or Chris were talking about financial literacy.
Yeah. What Chris name? Chris called it estate planning. Uh
State or
um
e-state.
uh estate
Yeah, estate planning.
individual estate planning.
Ship free to
What you mean,
anywhere in
in
the
the
world.
logo?
Get the look you deserve. I invite you to shop
Who's
online
this? Oh God damn it!
promo code TV and save 10%
Who's
on
estate planning?
at fitrosby.com.
Estate planning. Individual, community, family.
Estate planning is for family. What are you talking about?
I'm just getting in perspective. If it's just me,
You can still have an estate plan. Have to give it to a beneficiary, though.
All right, there's plenty of action across the association.
will be another avenue. One more, coach.
The Knicks, Karl Anthony Towns, he dropped 25 in his Madison Square Garden debut, the most by any player so
What
far.
what about mental health? What about coping?
His cat gave
I don't know how. I don't really know how I feel about mental health. Mo, to be honest with you,
I'm
I don't know.
thinking.
I don't know how. I don't know how real it is in
I'm think.
regards to regular everyday people. I don't know how real it is.
I'm
And
thinking
and
about.
I say that honestly with all my heart. I don't know how real it is. I think
Well,
it's something easy to lean on.
well, I'm thinking. I'm thinking more coping. I'm thinking more motivational. Motivational. Or maybe I should say. Uh, I'm thinking more. Um, I'm thinking more of how to of people uh developing
Coping
routines.
mechanism, coping.
Ru-
What you're
Yeah,
trying to say?
routines. Yeah, like motivational routines. Yeah, like coping routines or motivational routines. Like how to keep going,
Chris,
How
was
not
that you, Chris? That said you were game banging, or was that Sonny?
that was sunny.
Okay. Um, I don't know. Like I said, more everything that we see now is emotional, which sometimes stems from IG, music, YouTube, some social media thing. Everything we see is stems from something images, 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 images. So how do you turn the images off, or how do you make the images less important than the importance that we place upon them?
Yes.
So, like, mental health is. I see mental health with the individuals that I serve. They really got mental health issues. I see that. even if you do whatever I hope you guys follow me when I say this, do what's necessary to try to curtail them, they still gonna have those same mental health issues tomorrow. The individuals that are out here walking around with the switches and all this stuff, and I don't know, man. Like I said, I don't know how I feel about it still to this day. Me and Ali talk about it all the time.
Mm.
But in regards to a program, I get that part of it. But how do you deal with it? I would say, how do you deal with emotions? You're allowed, you sure have emotions, no doubt about it. But does that mean you act upon your emotions all the time? Doesn't mean you get to lash out at somebody because you're having an emotional moment. Now, because you lash out at somebody that because you're having an emotional moment, now they got to respond to your emotional moment. Now, how we can't dictate how that person responds to it. I don't know. Like I said, that's a hard one for me because I don't really know what it means no more. Because it's almost like a crutch to fall on.
Mental health.
Yeah, yeah. Because again, I know 20 years ago things were different. What was your mental health coping mechanisms 20 years ago, Mo?
My music and dance.
Did you really think you had a mental health problem though?
No, I didn't need a. I didn't have a mental health problem. I just needed a break, like a release. I needed something to get my mind off of work and be able to. I needed that filter between home and work. Like I didn't want to take what all the stresses of work home with me. So I would dance. I would go line dance, and then I'd come home.
What about you, Chris?
And then it was before line dance. It was basketball. Hmm?
What were your I guess coping mechanisms if we want to use that phrase when you felt like you might have been stressed out or something like that?
20 years ago, he said.
20 years ago, man, I was in college. I was hooping. So
So
I was
yours was
hooping,
basketball, sports.
huh?
Yours was sports.
Sports, women. Well, I can't even say I was coping. There was nothing for me to cope from. I'm young. I'm living life. There's no reason I should be struggling with mental health unless I was raised in, some messed up conditions. But if you talking about handling your emotions, I've never been over the top emotional. So
How you was raised with both parents or mom, just mom or grandparents? How was you raised?
um I was raised mostly with my pops. Um
Huh?
I was raised mostly with my dad and
Okay,
his longtime girlfriend. So
I got you. So I was raised with my mom and dad. So our emotional output was limited any goddamn way.
right.
You might say something, but it don't last long. You got to get to it now.
Yeah.
Cause I had the kind of mama that she gonna turn you over to dad. Oh, I'm tired of this shit. Go talk to your dad.
Oh yeah.
I had that kind of mama. You
I
know,
feared my father.
hell yeah. Like he said, his dad told him one time he gave us the leeway of saying to us twice, but it won't be no third.
Yeah.
You know, cause my dad's dad was a tyrant, but he was a little guy. But he didn't kill him a few people, so they knew not to play with him really. But
Yeah.
yeah, man. So I don't like I said I don't know what I don't know what mental health means no more, Mo. I don't because it's an easy catchphrase.
It
But
is.
in regards to a program, I understand what you mean.
Right.
But just overall, I don't know what it means no more. I just don't. I don't know what it means, Mo. Cause I don't walk around. I mean, shit. I don't. I got stress on me on every day. Shit, I do. But do I have mental health issues? Hell no,
Yes.
I don't. I'll call me like I said. I call Ali. Me and Chris. We text back and forth. Or go to IG and we back and forth. Sometimes I call you, and
Yep.
it seem like if you have people, um, on the same playing field is easier because I talk to y'all more than I talk to people I went to high school with.
Yeah.
And I grew up with them my whole damn life.
Dang.
You ain't lying.
If we just being honest, y'all, I don't talk to them that much. I'll be happy to see them in our reunion this upcoming weekend, but I talk to you guys more than I talk to them. But I don't feel bad about it though. I don't. I actually feel good about it because it seemed as if we went in different directions, and that's fine. That's fine.
I can say a lot of my high school friends, they dead or locked up. Real talk.
And we don't want to be either one of them.
Either one of them. So I want to say it ain't nothing for me to talk to them about. Unless they trying to change. That's the only way we gonna be talking. Other than that, is peace, how you been? That's what you into, cool. I'll holler. It might not even be that. I don't even really add no high school friends to my account in the first place. Y'all just stay where y'all at. That was the past.
Because you basically
I
supposed to be around them, basically, right? What you say, if I hear you right.
Huh? What you say?
I said, if I hear you right, you basically saying you were supposed to be around them anyway.
Right.
Yeah, man. So I feel it, bro. 100%. Mo, how many people from your past do you talk to? Not military, but high school wise.
I talk to not daily. I don't. The only time I talk to somebody from home if it's business related.
Right.
If it's like a friend, I don't really talk to my friends. But if I go home, I'll talk to them.
Right.
But away, I don't talk to them because one, all my friends got kids, and they probably grandparents right now.
Right.
So we don't have too much in common, and they're busy with their kids. But in the same sense, I'm the only time I usually talk to them if it's veteran related. They trying to find out some information
I
or we
got
talk
you.
about something business. But like high school wise, we don't really have nothing in common right now.
Right.
The only person I talk to from the high school we have something in common is because he's into business. He's into nonprofits. His wife is into it, so I call them and we'll chop it up or we'll
Right.
bounce ideas off of each other. But as far as like having a daily conversation, I'm not in conversation with anybody from high
I
school,
got you.
not from college and neither the military. Honestly, nowadays, I never really, I think after 2012, I think, um, yeah, 2012. I ain't really had no, and then I grew up sheltered, so I wouldn't have had no, I probably wouldn't have kept too many relationships, but in the same sense, though, now I've always been into so much like forward progression stuff. Like I bored people coming up. I bored people. Like when I became a working adult, I bored people because I was always looking for ways to. I was in the community. I've always been a community worker. So if I was around somebody, had something to do with community service, and not many people giving up their time to do community service,
No doubt. No doubt.
you know. And now and then when I got into business, I had zero tolerance for people who wouldn't trying to, self-sustain. So I really became the weirdo. And then I became money, as they would say, money hungry or chasing money. Because then I started trading, and then, it's
I've
just
heard people tell me, man, go on all that black shit.
oh, well, see, I haven't exposed any of that because people don't really understand it.
I got
People
you.
that I know don't really understand that. They look at you weird. I remember I used to be that person, right?
Mhm.
Because contrary to what the internet thinks, people don't know. People don't study their culture. People don't study Black history, African American history, and like talking about it. People don't really study the Bible. They talk about it. They say they're religious. They say they do God and all that stuff. They don't be studying that. Not regular people. That be internet people, right? So many people don't really even do be into or even engage in what they know. They just kind of party. People just go to work, entertain themselves, and go home. They're not really trying to understand self-sustainment or self-preservation,
No doubt.
or as Uncle say, learn how to sustain food, clothing, and shelter. They're not really into that. And that's why, let's bring it back full circle, you have a disaster and we lost. Instead of looking at it for those who survive, instead of looking at it as an opportunity to, as African Emporium said Sunday, to start a business or to start, something new for themselves, they waiting on their ship to come in.
Well,
And and that right there, my friends, is a problem within themselves. That's why I'm always looking for the solution. If something happens, I'm saying, okay, either I'm gonna gain from this or I'm gonna die from it. But what I won't do, I ain't gonna lose now. I'm gonna always figure out a way. And some people I don't like to be around me because they're not figuring out ways. They're not trying to figure. I got a text tonight. Anything extra that I can do to earn money? No, because I'm not gonna be over here doing all the work and everybody else sitting back waiting to benefit. That ship has passed and long gone.
Mhm.
Because that's where we are. If we can sit on a live, right? I gain stuff. Every time I talk to Coach, I could gain stuff. I talk to Chris, I talk to Brandon, I talk to Price, I can talk to anybody and I can be engaged. But I remember somebody told me a long time ago, Mo, you have to build up a tolerance for the fine print. If you don't build up a tolerance to read the fine print, you're not gonna always get the best fruit. So I sat back and I said, okay, shit. That means I gotta get to being amongst people who either doing the work, sit back and read and learn. Like I said, when we went to that ecologist conference, I didn't even know what the heck I was going into. I didn't even know what ecologist was. I had to go look it up. And when I was sitting there and them kids was not kids, but them young adults was doing all that research, a lot of the times I had no clue what they was talking about.
Mm.
But then there was one presentation, two, really. When that professor say, I'm gonna teach y'all how to bridge the gap between you and community, I tuned in, light bulb came on, bing, 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 bing. You need to find you a student who's doing research because they've being vetted, their stuff is being peer reviewed, right? That means there's some validity to it, right? Some value, and that person can help you and strengthen your grant. Because a lot of times our knowledge and our intellect, it can carry us but so far. But what they're doing these days, every time we learn something, government moves the goalpost, right?
No doubt.
So even though you can do this by yourself, they're not gonna fund you if you by yourself. They want you to have government agency that you're getting support and services from or that you partnered with. They want you to have some type of educational institute. How are you getting these kids? Are you working with a teacher in the school? And then they want you to have another community-based organization. And you in your mind have to get out of your feelings and be able to break your budget down that you all win. You cannot have 100% of the funds. It's not going to happen. It's not going down. You're going to have to put some people on the team, and you can't just put your friends on the team. You're going to have to start gaining a relationship, leveraging a relationship with these government officials and these educational institutions. If you're going to want to win, that's the boat they put us in. They let everybody else stand alone, but they're not letting us stand alone. But we can't look at that as a crutch. What we have to do is say, okay, I'll play your game. We got HBCUs. You don't have to go to the PWI. We got our own schools, but our own schools got to open the doors and allow us to come in too. Now, if they keep their doors closed and don't want to partner with us, is we'll have a problem. We're not gonna get very far. And it doesn't matter if the HBCU is not in your hometown. Then it becomes a field trip for you and your students.
So you
See how
taking
that?
all the excuses out the way. That's what you basically saying. Ain't no excuses. Let go
No,
get it done. Yeah.
no. I'm not looking at it as an excuse.
No,
I'm building.
I agree with you. You taking them
Oh,
away.
right. But and I'm building your budget.
Yeah.
I'm,
Oh, got
I'm,
you, got you, got
you
you.
see where I'm going? I'm
Yeah.
strengthening your program. So instead of just having your students, I'm looking for funding to fund this youth pro. Remember, we started with the youth program, and our
Right.
youth program turned into a STEM program. And our STEM program now is turning in is adding an activity. One, visit a college or university that specializes in that field, whichever area of STEM you decide to use. And two, partner with one of the associations that has the kids, free membership for those kids in that age group, and get a sponsorship to sponsor those kids to go to that event, to that conference. Now, not only did I entertain you or I provided an educational source, I also empowered you by connecting you to a career source by taking you to that conference. Now I'm not just keeping you off the streets. I'm giving you a career pathway so that you can become a productive citizen. And now I'm not the only person gonna have to do the work because you're gonna grow up and you're gonna come back and help me.
Let's get it, man. I am down. I am down.
I be preaching better than these folks be clapping. And I be saying to myself, listen, as many intelligent folks that we have met along the way in these areas of these YouTube streets, very knowledgeable, very intelligent, got some real good minds. But boy, if they would just tune in, all that nonsense they be talking about, what they trying to do in their communities, they could be a beast in their communities.
Well, I told you, you take yourself for granted, girl. You borderline genius level.
I'm learning. I'm learning as I go.
There's not much you cannot. There's not much you won't adapt to.
That listen, I just teamed up with Tiffany. Man, she about to put this marketing plan together, bruh. Let me tell you, she talking about. I just said some stuff. Shit, she'd have took what I just said to the 100 level. You'd be like, damn, did she just say that? Because she studies on the global level, but she can make it practical all the way back down to the local level.
That's the end. That's the end game. Can you make it practical and applicable?
Yes.
No
Yes.
matter how good someone sounds, can you make it practical and applicable?
Yes. And it all starts with what y'all talked about when we first started. Coming to the table. Let me go back up on my little survey. I'm building this for you, coach. You can have it. You can have it when I'm done. Identifying community issues. Put that survey out. Send the Google Doc to your friends. See what their mindset is. Then once you figure out what their mindset is and which community issue is the most important, then uh you schedule what we call a retreat, right? And you invite in those agencies that you don't have to pay for free because they're out there, or you find some funding to fund it, and then you galvanize around that issue and you break it down. How can we address it? And then once you got your plan, then you seek funding for it and you go after it and then you put it into play. That's how that works. But you get, but how you galvanize, you have to galvanize, as AE always say, you have to have a common interest. And your common interest is not the fact that you got a problem in your community. The common interest is, what problem is it? Which one? So now my conversation doesn't become, man, you seen such and such, such as got shot. Man, I'm tired of this person getting shot. Da, da, da. Now your conversation becomes neighborhood safety assessment. What do we already have in our neighborhood? How is it protected? What are some things that we could do better? What are some things that the city can do better, or the law enforcement? Who's available? Do we have a neighborhood watch? How does this work for us? Who are the players of the team that has to be talked to in order to implement such thing? And by the time you get at that table, an hour goes by fast. You so engaged in it, you have to offer homework or assignments. So when you come back the next time, you can begin to fill in the blank. That's how you build the program. That's how you seek funding. You can't seek it off of just an idea. You have to really get into the meat and potatoes of it, so that when you do go to the subject matter expert, like the college professor or the researcher, you're going with them with your rough draft and saying, this is what I would like to do. Here's some ideas that the community and I got together and created. Can you help us? We need this to be enhanced. We need you to help us fix our plan and make it better, for lack of better words. And we have here's the grant we want to write. Write yourself into the grant and let's go get it. And watch that professor make your little grant proposal walk on water. But you didn't go to them empty-handed. You went to them with a plan, at least a draft of it, so that they can know where you're going, where you're trying to go with it.
Right.
Versus saying, hey, I need a grant writer, and that person go write something up, but you don't know how to implement it.
That's good.
But yeah, it's time to go to bed.
Yeah, I'm out of here. Chris, where we at, brother?
All right, that's a bet.
All right, Big Ed Moore, I'll let you.
All right, peace, y'all.
Peace.
How do I get out of this thing?